2019. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for TLC 2019. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri. The three of us back together again. Interesting Monday Night Raw tonight. We saw a divorce happen on air, a marriage just crumble in front of our very eyes. We saw a championship match. We saw some setups for TLC. We saw a new faction formed. Matt, what did you think of tonight's show?
That was the go-home episode? That's what I thought.
Indeed.
That's what I thought.
I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying not to think about, I would rather have watched something on TV at random as opposed to 75% of what we saw tonight. I would have rather just picked a random channel.
I'm trying to take my fandom a little bit more out of this and trying to give fan and viewers a legitimate viewpoint of what we're supposed to be doing. That's analyzing this show.
Yes.
And when I wrestled, we always looked at our go-home episode as the end-all, be-all, too, because we got paid accordingly. If that pay-per-view was a sold-out arena or pretty close to it, where we wrestled on the card, we would get a percentage of that gate, plus another bonus, plus our downside, which doesn't really matter. Do you know what I'm saying? So you had... I just think the way that these guys now were contracted, and now the way I understand that they're contracted, in the long run, they're lucky they're getting these workhorses from Ring of Honor and all these other indie companies that these younger guys have now grown up in WWE superstars and love their own work rate and really work their asses off. The Daniel Bryans, the Seth Rollins, and so on, Kevin Owens, and so Joe, AJ. There's going to come a time where that work rate's not there anymore because they're not encouraging people to work their asses off predicated on how they're paid.
I agree with that. I mean, Raj, do you think that's almost a side effect of the network? We're now creative.
Yes.
It's not on creative as much. And Matt, to your point, the talent is out there giving it their all. They are out there doing their best. But if creative just gives you a big crap sandwich and they're like, whatever, it's the network, we don't have to worry about buys.
It's going to be the next generation, I have a feeling. It's when it's going to hit.
I mean, it's supposedly the reason why they're not announcing they hadn't announced any TLC matches up until this past Friday. It was noted in the Observer that Vince feels that all the network subscriptions come late. So instead of announcing matches ahead of time and doing a build, you just throw it all the last week on the final shows. I don't, as a fan, that doesn't get me excited for a show. If I missed tonight's show for any reason, I would forget that there's a pay-per-view this Sunday.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that's a major issue. And the hottest thing on this show, and I actually thought tonight's show was pretty entertaining, except for the first segment.
I just didn't know it was the go home.
Exactly.
I didn't feel that.
Yeah, exactly. But the hottest stuff on the show, Kevin Owens and Seth, they didn't announce that match for this Sunday. And they probably shouldn't. I mean, he just turned on him. He just revealed himself. That's where you should build it for a few weeks and lead to that match.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was just nothing that got me excited for the pay-per-view. But overall, I was pretty entertained. Looking at it from an analyst standpoint, it's a terrible build-up for the pay-per-view, though.
Yeah.
Let's go segment by segment. Let's talk about it. Let's start with Jerry the King Lawler in the ring, introduced by Mike Rome. Out comes Rusev and Lana, and for the first time ever on Raw, Jerry was presiding over the signing of a divorce contract.
Why was that the first time on Raw? How do you know that?
Well, that's what he was said tonight. The first time ever on Raw.
Okay.
Yes. Again, we've been waiting for this one. We've seen everything else on Raw, but never a divorce.
I was going to say, they've had their hand in a multitude of divorces.
Yeah.
Just never on TV. This is all right. I don't know. I'm sure there's fans out there that were entertained by this.
If I didn't have this podcast, I would have changed the channel during this. I would have left. I would have been gone for the night. I would have just been like, this is freaking stupid. Why am I watching this? I'll watch Monday Night Football, even though I don't care about either of the teams playing.
So why is this drawing a number is what for them in their ratings, gauging it with their ratings? I'm being clear about that. Why is this drawing a number?
Well, it's not drawing a big number. It's like a slight increase from the previous quarter hour.
Yes. Why is the TV sets not being shut off all around the country?
Because Lana's hot, maybe.
Yeah.
Really, that's probably it.
I wonder what her ratings are for everything she's been a part of so far since being with WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess, things like the stuff she did with Enzo in the hotel and all those. I'm guessing those probably did better than usual quarter hours.
Interesting.
Well, they're good YouTube thumbnails, right? I mean, when you're looking at online reaction, I think she's very good for that. But with this, here's what I didn't like about this is tonight she was going on and on about Rusev Day and what an egomaniac Rusev was during that, and ignoring this continuity. Except though, do you remember the year when every time Rusev was out there, Lana's the best, Lana number one? Like, he made her such a big part of that to me, I was like, okay, this is stupid, but now you're just insulting me as a fan. Like, I wasn't paying attention to this whole time they're talking about it, like not how it actually happened. That just irked me.
Reader Mark said, bingo, Raj. For those listening to the podcast. Well, isn't that the point though? Isn't that the heat? Isn't that what therein lied the heat, that she's lying, right?
Sure.
And exaggerating.
She's not likable. She's not coming across. I mean, and I don't.
She's a heel.
Supposed to be. She's a heel.
It's just weird though that I would think they would try and make her come across as more sympathetic and more.
No.
You don't think so?
No, in this angle, you don't want to do that.
She's supposed to be a you know what, and we're all supposed to be like really upset with her that she's doing this to poor Rusev.
Yeah, you're supposed. I mean, the sympathy is all supposed to be on Rusev. Now, my problem with Lana's promo is it was that X-Pac heat that you'd hear about, where it's not like it's so bad that I'm getting mad at Lana and I can't wait for Rusev to come out. It was so bad that I wanted to change the channel and not come back. It was so bad that it made me wonder why I'm watching this.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to get fully into this. I feel like this storyline does not deserve an extensive discussion. Bobby Lashley came out, so I guess we're gonna have Bobby versus Rusev.
TLC. I couldn't have called that.
Doesn't that first angle when Lana first came out and returned and started making out with Lashley on the stage, didn't that feel like that was like 8 months ago?
Yeah.
Like this has been going on forever, and this is their first match.
Wow. Should we praise them for that then? I mean, we want longer drawn out stories. I mean, that have, a beginning, middle, and an end. I mean, we're still in the middle of it technically. Yeah,
I'm sure it's not over this Sunday.
Unfortunately. But I mean, there's some, what's the word I'm looking for? There's some, what's the word I'm looking for? Showing not resolve, but they're showing an ability to not throw it all out there right away like they normally would do and fast forward something.
No, I mean, long-term story planning. I mean, we always talk about that, building a story and then having the big conclusion. The only problem is the story has been so corny.
It doesn't stick with us.
Right.
With us particularly, but maybe some others it does.
Yeah.
Yes. Just to answer Chrono Falco's question of why would you make a heel sympathetic, I think the best heels are the ones who do not believe they are heels, who believe they're in the right. To me, that makes a more compelling storyline.
They're not sympathetic.
You don't really want them to be sympathetic,
especially in wrestling. Wrestling's
I guess something, anything. I don't know. I just feel like for the weight they're tossing out there behind this.
Just think about it. Then you put the baby face in a very weird position because now they're the ones causing this to the empathetic figure. You don't want that, right?
Though, don't you think Rusev, though, is trying to have it both ways? Because he does come across as very sympathetic, but then when she'll be like, well, you're trying to have sex with me all the time, he's like, oh, could you blame me? It's like very sort of...
But this audience loves that.
Yeah. And that's the problem. These are the type of stories I feel like the WWE...
So you can't get behind a sex addict. Is it because that's the way they're labeling him, kind of, which I don't understand.
I'm not even getting into all this.
I don't understand that. Like, they don't need to go there, right?
Yeah,
right?
It's just so. Yeah, it just comes across as cringe. The whole segment when they start doing the whole sex stuff, it
doesn't make him cooler though. Like, I'm not like watching him going, yeah, man, he's cool. Like, I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, what? You force yourself on your own wife? That's kind of freaking out there, dude.
Oh, absolutely. And that's my other issues. They've given so many different reasons for this. Originally, she faked the pregnancy. Then
oh my God.
I mean, right? Like, this has been all over the place. I feel like they know the type of story they want, but they're just throwing it all against the wall here.
And Rusev, I'm wondering it seems like they're tweaking his character a little bit. He looked like he just got done, at a frat party, coming out with the sport coat Donald Duck shirt. We'll see where they go. But the one thing about this angle is Rusev has been getting good, reactions from the crowd.
Yeah.
And the live crowd has not been shitting on these segments as much. They did a couple times, but for the most part, it hasn't been a big disaster like you'd expect.
Yeah.
So Kevin Owens was backstage looking for Seth Rollins, talking about being attacked by AOP last week. Ran into Rey Mysterio, who gave Kevin Owens a steel pipe, and then Owens went about his hunt. Then we had Matt Hardy versus Drew McIntyre. Matt, how do you feel about the way they're using Matt Hardy these past few weeks?
You know what the obvious answer is, right? He's a future Hall of Famer. This is the way they treated Ray when he first came back. I felt maybe not as bad, but still bad. I don't know because I don't know how long Matt is back for.
Yeah.
And I just know you can get more mileage out of this than what they're doing with him.
Well, supposedly his contract is reportedly up in April, so they still got a little time. My thing, and I said this back in the day with the Dudley Boys, Rob Van Dam, it's the same thing over and over, is if you got a guy who can still go and who the crowd sees as a star and is super over, it seems like the smart move would be to use them in a meaningful storyline, get them wins over lower level talent, build them for the guy you're trying to build. And then so when the guy you're trying to build beats, your Matt Hardys or your RVDs, it means something and elevates them.
And the fans listening at home, what Raj is talking about, he's not talking in the main event level guy that they're trying to get over. He's talking mid-card, even below mid-card level talent, even to that degree that you feed him some preliminary guys, get him some wins, and then have them, do the job to somebody that you're trying to get over. Like a Ricochet could really use that, or tons of talent. Or who's the guy that AJ kept beating? Or what the hell?
Humberto.
Besides him, there's one before him.
Oh,
Cedric.
Cedric Alexander would be ideal.
Or Mojo. But it's, so that way, or, Drew, when they finally get to Drew, at least that way, when Drew beats Matt Hardy, it means something as opposed to just being a regular squash.
Especially if he pulverizes them.
Yeah.
After Matt's been built back up a little bit with wins, right?
Yeah, it would mean that much more. And Matt could do a great job. He's creative as hell.
He is.
He could do a great job if you put him in a real program, but they're just treating him. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this later, but with these releases that just happened, if Jeff Hardy, because of injury, has had significant time added to his contract, but Matt is potentially out after WrestleMania, Matt has got a lot of value left, and he could easily go back to TNA, he could go to Ring of Honor, he could go to AEW, he could go to NWA and really provide a lot of value for any company he signs with.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, and the creative aspect of it too. He wants to give back. You can read it in his tweets. Even you can see it. He wants to give back in a creative manner, not just with him wrestling, but offering suggestions and ideas. WWE would be very foolish not to pay him whatever the hell it costs to get him as maybe part of that creative team, or at least worst case scenario, an agent. Because those kids can learn. Kids, it sound like I'm an 80-year-old man. These young whippersnappers can learn a shit ton from him as far as creativity goes and thinking outside the box. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And plus, that broken gimmick would still be money if used right outside of WWE.
Yeah, man.
Yes, and I did mean Impact, not TNA. I'm always going to call it TNA.
It's TNA.
It's always going to be TNA. Yeah, so Drew McIntyre won that pretty easily. After that, we saw Charlotte Flair's handicap match loss to the Kabuki Warriors last week. We saw footage of her and Becky Lynch backstage. What do you make of this angle, how they're building this up to have them come together for this match at TLC on Saturday, Matt?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, this very reluctant partnership that they're having, right? I don't like you. We still have our issues. I mean,
it's just, I like that they acknowledge that, right? Instead of rolling over and just skipping off into the sunset, holding hands.
Yeah.
I hate when two singles acts that have had major beef over time and have had blood wars against one another.
Yeah.
Drew blood from one another with weapons, might I add. Like months later are skipping hand in hand, both guys and girls when they do this.
Yeah.
But so I did like the little, tip of the hat to that. I don't know, small wrinkle, but I liked it.
I like the idea of this feud. These two the two top women on the brand who hate each other are forced to team together because they've just been getting thwarted by the heels. I didn't like how they're just sitting on the bench like, oh, so did you see what they just did? Well, yeah, I did. Like it had the intensity of burnt toast, or like lightly burnt toast. It was weak. You want to see them like really pissed and so mad at the Kabuki Warriors that they're agreeing to fight together to get back at them, as opposed to just chilling on the bench.
Yes. Isn't lightly burnt toast just toast?
And isn't that intense?
Not if it's lightly burnt.
Because it got burnt so bad that it became now burnt. Isn't that intensity?
No, that's like I left it in for 10 seconds too long.
That's all I've been thinking about since you've said that.
The toast.
I mean, forget the rest of Raw. Let's have a debate about toast here, because I feel like there's fertile ground that we could really cover. Yeah, I mean, it was necessary, right? But we all knew what was going there. We've known for weeks that it was going to be this match.
It would have been more apropos, like where I was talking about, to be honest. He's right. But if like one of them had just gotten jumped by the Kabuki Warriors, let's say, and was like selling, and then in walks Charlotte or in walks Becky, however you want to play that, the other, female wrestler walks in and says, all right, this bleep's got to stop. Look, we don't like each other. We don't have to like each other. But this stuff and what they're doing has got to stop. We're the top females here in WWE. Unfortunately, we're going to have to tag up to make this happen, but let's go get it done. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and I also think they really should have, if they're in a handicap match, they really should have put a beating on the baby faces. You could keep it 50-50 for a while, but eventually the numbers catch up to them, and the heels keep doing fast tags, beat them down bad to where they need each other at the end, and that's why they're going to do team. But they're almost beating them on their own.
But yes, they are. And here's the thing: the Kabuki Warriors have to go over. They're not going to, but they need to go over here. They're a tag team. It makes more sense. Neither one, Charlotte nor Becky, lose any steam by losing a tag team match versus the women's champions. They don't.
Yeah, they do that all the time, where they have the singles guys that are feuding win the tag titles just to keep their, just to add to their feud, and they'll beat a tag team that has steam on them, and then the tag team's titles just, fall further.
And the whole division is, basically sucks now because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think if the Kabuki Warriors lose, it hurts the titles.
Tag teams should always be two singles wrestlers tagging together. Always. They're supposed to be, brother and brother or sister and sister. They know what the other one's thinking without even having to talk. Like, you know what I mean? That's the way they're supposed to be. That's what's supposed to be to make tag team wrestling so damn exciting. Is the double maneuvers that only a tag team that has experience of being together, traveling everywhere together, eating together, lifting together, all that crap, training together. It's supposed to add up. Like it used to back when we were kids and we used to watch wrestling. Like we thought, I don't know about you, but I thought that Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hitman Hart traveled together for sure. The British Bulldogs, they definitely pumped iron together. Do you know what I mean? Like Killer Bees definitely rode together. Like I always had that in my head that these guys go everywhere together.
Yeah, and WWE, they back in the day, they would protect that too. I remember when they first started doing the storyline of two singles guys that are feuding, teaming together. I think the first time I remember it was Macho Man and the Warrior teamed together heading into like SummerSlam when Macho Man was champ and Warrior had just come back. And they wrestled the Nasty Boys, and they didn't let Macho Man and Warrior beat the Nasty Boys. Think about that. They had the Nasty Boys win by, I think it was count out or DQ, but regardless. Yeah, I agree. If this is just to further a Becky versus Charlotte's feud, have one of them turn on the other in the match, and then the Kabuki Warriors get the win, as opposed to them beating the Kabuki Warriors and doing the split down the road.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a moment, thank the sponsor of this episode, who I have to give a huge thank you to, and that is SeatGeek. As many of you know, I was in New York.
SeatGeek.
Oh, SeatGeek, you are the best. I was in New York, had the trip of my life, saw so many shows, so much theater on Broadway, all thanks to SeatGeek. And let me tell you why. Every other ticketing site, every other ticketing app is terrible. It's garbage. Set it on fire. Throw it away. It's as if they're all so big they think they can get away without caring about the customer experience. Their sites are annoying. They don't have the tickets you want. It's the status quo, and it's awful. I'm fired up about this. The real question is, how easy, how wonderful, what a utopia would it be if those ticketing sites actually cared? Well, With millions of live event tickets and a price match guarantee, SeatGeek is showing us there's a better way. The future is now. It's all right here. You can search sports, live music, comedy, the theater, professional wrestling, and more. SeatGeek has the tickets you're looking for all in one place. And in this industry that is so toxic, SeatGeek stands out from the crowd. They've built the fastest way to find tickets so you can stop searching for that perfect seat and start enjoying it. Why are they better than the rest? Look at the App Store, 50,000 five-star reviews. That's amazing, incredible customer satisfaction because it's a better process. SeatGeek pulls together millions of tickets from all over the web. They rate each deal on a scale of 1 to 10, and they display every seat on an interactive seat map so you can see exactly where you're sitting and see if it's a good deal. Green dots mean good deals, red dots are overpriced, and every purchase is fully guaranteed so you can shop for tickets with confidence. I've got SeatGeek on my phone in New York. We were deciding what shows to see. We saw Freestyle Love Supreme. We saw Lin-Manuel Miranda. He was the special guest that night. It was incredible. SeatGeek had us there with amazing seats. We saw Hadestown. We saw Sing Street, Jagged Little Pill so much. And I'm excited. Raj, Matt, did you see Motley Crue breaking their promise about breaking up? They're coming back together. It's going to be Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett.
I am going. That's my favorite band of all time, Motley Crue. I'm not joking.
Really?
I'm actually going to use SeatGeek for the first time.
I was just waiting for you to talk about this. I was just looking up because me and a bunch of friends, I've been texting them, but like, don't purchase anything. I'll go on SeatGeek on Friday. They're coming here to Denver on August 30th. Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard. And Friday morning, I'm on my SeatGeek app, and that's what I'm going for.
And not only that, WrestleMania Hall of Fame is going on sale. NXT is going on sale. We're going to have access to all these events. We're going to be doing a little Wrestling Inc. Live event around Tampa, around Mania. And I'm telling you, if you're going to be there, for me planning my trip, SeatGeek is the way I'm going. No more waking up at who knows what time in the morning, getting on the site. Oh, it's overloaded. No, I'm going to wait for SeatGeek. I'm going to get an amazing deal. I'm going to get the exact seats that I want. It's fantastic. And next summer, I've seen Def Leppard. I've seen Joan Jett, but Motley Crue live, Poison live. Going to get to hear my favorite Poison song, Fallen Angel, live in concert.
Oh, great one.
And you know why it's great? Because it tells a story. I love songs that tell a story.
It does tell a story.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic one. I'll picture the video, but I'll be seeing it live. Every rose has its thorn. It's philosophical. Think about it. They're making such a point there. Anyhow, I'm going to be close up. I'm going to be able to see Bret Michaels' hair plugs underneath that bandana, and SeatGeek is going to get me there.
July 9th, Motley Crue, Orlando.
Yeah, not too close, though. I don't want to see what Vince Neil has become. I need a little distance.
August 30th. August 30th, man. Don't put SummerSlam that day, WWE.
Oh, seriously. So, and we've got an even better deal for you all. SeatGeek is going to give you $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. All you need to do is use our promo code. Here's what I want you to do. Download the SeatGeek app today. Use the promo code INC for $10 off your first purchase. That's promo code INC for $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Raj on SeatGeek, it says August 30th, Denver, Coors Field.
Yep, I got it right here.
It's pretty sweet as being Coors Field. That's going to sound really good.
We saw Guns N' Roses at Coors Field. So it's
nice.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. We saw that was at the football stadium. Coors Field is the baseball stadium.
Nice one.
Promo code INC, $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. We thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
I'm going to make my first because the Morgans don't go out. We don't really do much of anything. So this will be our first ticket purchase. I don't think we've ever been to a concert.
Wow.
We went to Dave Chappelle once many years ago. That's it.
Oh, that's a good one, though.
You might appreciate this. In New York, I saw that Harry Hamlin was in a play. It was sold out. Found tickets through SeatGeek. And got to see Harry Hamlin live. Clash of the Titans was like my favorite movie when I was 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
So just being able to see Harry Hamlin in person.
I still don't know who that is. But
he played Perseus in Clash of the Titans. He later went on to be in LA Law.
Never saw it.
Now, after Flash Gordon in Clash of the Titans, I thought the lead character's name was Clash. Much like Flash Gordon, Clash of the Titans. He is Clash of the Titans.
That's a shame.
All right, moving on.
I was young. Raw Tag Team Titles match. Oh, no, wait. First, before that, Kevin Owens walking around backstage looking for AOP and ran into Mojo Rawley, who sass-mouthed him and got a huge slap across the face.
And?
What's up with this vest, man? I like Mojo. I want better for him. Why does he keep getting stuck with just these bad gear, these bad looks? Bring the Zubas back, man.
I don't know. And he's one of those types of talents. Like I was, that you do what you're asked to do, and you're like, all right, I see you think this is pretty mediocre. I'm gonna freaking prove you wrong. I'm going to blow this up into something much bigger and better. And that's the attitude a lot of guys have, especially former athletes from basketball, football backgrounds and things like that. You try to maximize your minutes, if you will. You try to take something that's crappy and prove everybody wrong that you can make it into something much bigger. It's the only thing I can think of because he is a workhorse.
He's got size. He's got charisma. He's got confidence. They did those vignettes with him in the mirror. Remember him looking in the mirror and he had purple face paint. Apparently
with the blue marker lines.
Right. Yeah.
What were they doing? Just hoping like we just talked about it enough to the fact that, fans just asked about it enough so much, then they were just going to like write it on the fly? I
guess, because I don't think he never made it on Raw with that, or maybe he did in like the 24/7 segments, but never in an effective way that I can remember. But yeah. I mean, what was the end game when you're spending your time on these? Have some sort of plan.
I don't think they do. They did, and a lot of times I don't think they do, and I don't think that's really fair to the damn talent either.
Yeah, I feel
especially him. He could be a home run talent. He really can.
Yeah, I feel like he needs to get in a tag team with someone with not like Zack Ryder, not with another guy who's been the prelims forever, but someone who's also on the verge of breaking out and that he can feed off of, because he's kind of in a rut right now with how that he's being used.
Peter Popovich said that Mojo was so excited for the gear on his Instagram story.
It looks like that vest. I mean, it looks like that's like a Roman Reigns reject when they were designing Roman. Like, no, this is too stupid.
I remember thinking the Shield stuff was stupid when it first, like their look. I remember going, what? That is corny. They should never sell. They should never sell, was my argument.
Do you know they first had shields, like actual shields?
Yeah.
As part of it. But Vince, I guess, before they went out, told them to drop it. Otherwise, they would have been coming out with shields.
But my thing was they had flak jackets on, or whatever you call them. Like, somebody makes the mistake to punch them in the stomach, they better no sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of pockets, at least. It looks like you could hold some stuff in there.
Tons of hammers. Tons of hammers.
So we had the Street Profits answering the open challenge from the Viking Raiders for a Raw Tag Team title match. Street Profits getting this insane entrance again. I mean, the crowd's into it. The energy's there. It's up. But then they get into this match and they lose.
I don't have an answer for this. I don't get Viking Raiders to begin with. I never have. I know everyone else likes them, and they're impressive when they're in the ring. I would argue they're not more impressive than Street Profits. This was a no-brainer. If I had these guys in my tag team division, I'm building a tag team division, Street Profits have gotten themselves over despite spending months on TV, getting other talents over as rookies, brand new to TV, national TV, rookies. Hey guys, I know you're new, but guess what? We want you to get over every single talent on our shows for the next 6 months. And then we'll maybe start to worry about you guys. And they've still done it.
Yeah, and I think one thing with wrestling fans is a lot of people, you're trained that someone's kind of kept off TV and then they show up and then just get beat, that they're not important. It's just kind of already, because that's what they do. And Matt, to your point, when the Viking Raiders were introduced and they cut that promo in the beginning, the crowd was silent. No one cared. And then they came alive when the Street Profits came out. So they're really pushing the Viking Raiders hard. It's rare that they get a real reaction, at least at the beginning. And Street Profits do right off the bat. I just think they should not be beating these guys yet. They should be giving them some wins. Maybe not here, book them in a different match, but get these guys some wins. I mean, these guys they bring the crowd on its feet.
I just don't get how they're so disconnected from hearing these reactions. They can't be deaf.
Do you think, though? I mean, we'll talk about this and what they did with the Street Profits later in the night. I'm sure their argument is similar to what it was at the time for Enzo and Cass. Like, these guys are so over, they can anchor every segment that we toss at them. They don't need a title. But I think it's just weird to have them.
Okay, fine. Don't have them in a match in which they lose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what made it seem weird about it tonight. When they were in this match, it was like, oh, they're going to do a quick switch because they're going to get on they're realizing the Viking Raiders aren't working.
They do this too often, and that's where the 50-50 booking comes from. where they book themselves in corners. Back in the day, they used to worry, not just WWE, but all wrestling companies used to worry about booking themselves in these corners and going, oh crap, how did we get here? We shouldn't have gotten here, and yet we're here, and these two talents have to face off. Shit, what do? We make a DQ at the end. But back then, it wasn't done all the damn time, so it didn't really hurt either talents because of that. Now, we've seen so many DQs. It's so predictable, and yet they still book themselves in these corners. Instead of not saying, maybe a month from now when I don't even know how far out they're booking. Is it even a month? I don't know. It feels like it feels like it's not, obviously.
Yeah, well, if the plan is for the Viking Raiders to defend the titles this Sunday, a DQ here could have made sense. You have the OC, who's the rumored opponents, come in and attack the Street Profits, who look like they're close to winning because they don't want the Street Profits to win, so they can win the titles from Viking Raiders.
Yes, that makes sense.
And so it makes sense.
Logic.
And then you save the Street Profits. They look good. They look competitive against the tag champs. But
I like that.
Yeah, some people are saying that Street Profits are on all the time. They haven't been on since in a month.
In a wrestling capacity? No, they're not.
Yeah, they haven't been on. They haven't wrestled in a month on Raw.
After that, and the Viking Raiders picked up a win, we had Kevin Owens come out to the ring and looking for AOP. Rollins is there and basically saying, I have nothing to do with them. He warns them that the AOP is going to come for him, but Rollins has no association. So he goes on and on. Rollins leaves the ring, heads to the back. And then we get Sami Zayn with Mojo Rawley instead.
Hold on, real quick. The Owens and Seth stuff.
Yeah.
Owens felt like kind of a goof, not attacking Seth right there.
Sure.
Just letting Seth do his thing, and then basically saying he's going to get his ass kicked by the AOP and not having more of a plan. I don't know. I think they're making Kevin Owens look kind of goofy in these segments.
Well, he's not hiding in a porta potty.
No,
good.
This is where they don't protect their baby faces.
Yeah, the baby faces should outsmart the heels. Like, they should have a plan. And his plan is to find them, and then he gets his ass kicked. Yeah, I mean, even before Seth came in the picture, he was getting he's getting destroyed.
And even if not necessarily, because Hulk Hogan used to walk into some traps from Piper, I remember. But nonetheless, it wasn't so blatantly obvious to the rest of us, and it made Hogan look terribly stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's
right.
Every babyface, it should be that way. It's okay if a heel outsmarts them from time to time to lead to the match before you get into that match, and where that payoff eventually happens of the babyface serving that heel their comeuppance, right? That's the end all be all payoff, right? So it's okay to let them outsmart them once in a while on the way there. But you also can't make the babyface look like a goof or a doofus or an idiot along the way. You don't want that. You know?
They would hurt Sting sometimes back in the day in WCW when he'd keep trusting Ric Flair, and then they would turn on him.
Yes, good. That's actually a really good call. I remember that. Yeah,
but yeah, when a babyface gets right.
God, that killed him for a while.
But yeah, when a babyface gets outsmarted, the fans should not see it coming, because then the fans were also outsmarted. Like, they got everybody, as opposed to this where everyone saw it coming.
Yep.
Maybe I was reading it wrong last week because I didn't watch Raw last week, but I saw some of the reaction on Twitter. I thought it was set up last week, or at least it seemed widely thought that Rollins and AOP were teaming together. So tonight, I was confused at Rollins' denial.
No, he denied it last week.
Gotcha.
Playing on that.
So let's talk about Sammy and Mojo. Sammy saying he has a managerial deal now, so he can appear on 2 different brands. Out there tonight, repping Mojo Rawley, bringing him to the ring. And then I liked this line when Mojo said to, was it Mojo or was it KO that said, everybody looks tough when they've got a pipe in their hand. And Kevin said, well, let's see, handed it to Mojo, and then dropped him in short order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that WWE is already compromising the brand split. They did it bleeding into the Survivor Series. They're doing it again, but it's one of those things. Why should I care when they're clearly not going to?
We don't. I have never cared about the brand split. I will never care about the brand split. I don't get more excited when I see a team of Raw performers come out or a team of SmackDown performers come out. It doesn't do anything for me.
I just don't like when they make their rules and then they just break them right off the bat. But whatever. That's been happening forever.
No more brand split, please. I know I'm the only one who thinks this way, but I wish they were all just on whatever damn shows they want to be on, and we could see, like for instance, Sammy. We could see more Sammy on all 3 damn shows if need be. If they really want to get people over, that's a way to do it.
You kind of burn through them quicker, though, then, right? If you see Sammy 3 times a week, then it's...
Well, I'm exaggerating. But
right.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the one thing with the brand split is at least you're only seeing
Ali
the...
Love. Go back to Ali Love's comment. We got to answer this. Ali Love asks, why is Sammy a manager now? Is he injured again? Come on, Ali. You're not paying attention to what's going on.
Well, yeah, he does have a shoulder. Yeah, he has shoulder issues.
He's also getting tons of heat and getting old boy crazy, much more over than he was previously.
Yeah, did you hear about the interaction with the fan last night?
No.
The video's on Wrestling Inc. So yeah, Sammy, some fan at ringside was like cursed, like yelling some homophobic slurs, and Sammy just got in his face and got the fan kicked out. So good for Sammy. But yeah, this fan was being really obnoxious.
Yeah. I don't think Sami Zayn, I don't know if anyone can get Mojo over at this point.
No. Sammy's great, but you need it for someone on the rise.
You don't think Sammy could get him over?
Okay, I know people gave a lot of crap about the Hype Bros and the Zubas and Mojo doing that, but everything they've done to Mojo since then has been worse and worse and worse.
It has, but again, how though would Sammy talking for him be bad?
I don't know. I just don't know that he can. Why does someone need a mouthpiece normally? Because they're not charismatic.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Yes, most of the time that's the reasoning, right? But look at Undertaker. Undertaker could cut a promo, but didn't fit his character.
I could see them almost more as a tag team, like Sammy's.
That would be even better. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Sammy's the loudmouth, getting the team into trouble all the time. Yeah, the Enzo per se, yes. while Mojo's the Cass. Mm-hmm. And Mojo's a legit athlete. I could see that. I could see that working really well. Yeah,
as long as they don't lean into their.
We've just solved their problems, you guys. We just. In one episode, came up with that up-and-coming, well, better than up-and-coming talent to tag him with that we were thinking about earlier. That's really good.
Yeah. Well, and they have a shared heritage, which I hope they do not lean into for the team, because that could get really dicey really quick.
I don't think they'd do that.
Yes. Hey, you never know. Alistair Black versus Akira Tozawa.
Huh. Okay, yes. Okay, so here's the thing when we say, gee, I wonder who's going to win. But sometimes, I keep telling you guys, and everyone that will listen, sometimes predictability in wrestling isn't a bad thing. Yeah. We knew Hulk Hogan was going to, and I keep using Hulk Hogan references, I apologize, but we knew every night what was going to happen, right? Someone was going to get some steam on him and some heat, and what was going to happen? Every night, like clockwork, he was going to Hulk up. It was going to happen. There was nothing that was going to stop it. And that predictability was great. It made us all want to come see that predictability in person. Sometimes when a match is this obvious and you're behind a talent, like I think a lot of fans are him, Alistair Black, this is a welcomed, predictable match that we want to see. We want to see him to continue to get wins under his belt and get built more and more and more and higher and higher.
Yeah, and Alistair is still kind of a new character as far as a singles character on Raw and SmackDown. So and that's the way you build him up, give him wins. Yeah. So and he looked dominant. That black mask he gave to Tozawa just looked freaking brutal. It looked great.
I think it's incredible. I don't know how he's not killing people with that. I don't. It's so impressive.
Yeah, you're not. I'm looking on our Twitter on the Wrestling Getter. He doesn't get a hand up or anything. It's. Tozawa is just flat in the face. So I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy, but I think it's doing great for Alistair Black. It's really building him up.
Now their follow through is what's important. We've seen this before with other talents. Yes. Their follow up is what's important. Mm-hmm. Matt Hardy at the right phase of this build of Alistair Black would have been ideal had you built Matt Hardy and give him some wins.
Right.
A win over Matt Hardy and a decisive win at that over Matt Hardy would have been great for Alistair Black. Matt Hardy still might be there for Alistair Black, but he's not going to mean as much because they didn't take the time to give Matt Hardy some wins on TV first.
Yeah. A big Michael's sending some love. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael.
Oh, I know Mike Sachs Jr. What's up, Mike?
Nice.
Wait, how does that work? Really quick, explain that to me.
There's a super chat on YouTube where someone can it's like we're street performers. They're tossing money at it.
Really?
Yeah, we're toss $2, Michael, there, and to get the highlights
you,
of the
Michael
comments,
Jackson.
and we appreciate the super chats.
Very cool.
Broken Matt Hardy and Alistair Black would actually be a really good feud. Those characters would go very well.
Yes.
They could do some cool stuff. Alistair Black is like this kind of stoic, serious dark figure, and Matt Hardy is this crazy one. And I think having that dichotomy, that difference in the characters could be something really entertaining.
I don't like how they've done Broken Matt Hardy with WWE.
Oh no,
fair.
Woken Matt Hardy has sucked.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, so, they just haven't. They WWE sized it, where they have the fancy background and the high production values, and
they didn't get it. I feel like they didn't get it.
Yeah,
the Halloween special was good.
Yes, because I guarantee you the Hardy Boys were all over that thing.
You think Vince McMahon was it? Yeah, Vince McMahon wasn't there directing that and super overlooking it.
I would love to see Vince telling Matt how to do Broken Matt Hardy.
And the fact that Jeff got his shit in, if you will, quote unquote, with his musical performance tells me the Hardys had a huge hand in that, and it was awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man, seeing Vince directing one of these would be money.
So we had Charlie Caruso backstage interviewing Humberto Carrillo, or was about to, when Zelina Vega came up. Carrillo was going to let her speak, but then Andrade ran up, said he's not happy, ran Carrillo down, and set up a match for the two of them. We also saw a tease for a Liv Morgan makeover coming soon to Raw. It's going to be like Emelina all over again.
That's what it reminded me of as soon as they showed that. Liv, man, she's got charisma. I think she
does.
She could be a star if they come up with something good for her. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah,
she does. She does a lot of cool things, like on social media. I see whether it's cool or not, as your guys' opinion, obviously, but it's something. She has something.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. So Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo.
Although, can I just rewind and just say, sticking out your tongue with lollipop stains on it is not cool. I'm not impressed by that. But other than that, sorry.
And I'm guessing with this makeover, that's probably going to go. Is my guess.
Good.
Hopefully, it's not like Emelina, where it's 8 months and they just drop it as soon as they finally debut her.
No, but there's something there with her. You could tell.
Yeah,
she's got something.
So
Humberto Carrillo got a win tonight.
Real quick, she reminds me of like a female Jungle Boy. Like, just has this natural, natural charisma that gets people into her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your eyes don't come off her generally when she's doing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Hey, I said this. Forget his opportunity with WWE. Enzo, his biggest screw up was blowing up his relationship with Liv Morgan. Like, that was the once in a lifetime he's the one that got her her gig in NXT.
I know that, but when did they get broken up?
They were dating. They lived together, I guess, for years, but I think they broke up shortly before all the accusations and stuff went down with him, probably about a month or two before. So, I think that's the bigger screw up. Forget WWE. He's never going to land somebody as dynamic or compelling as her. Yeah. Anyhow, Humberto Carrillo got a win tonight. We've talked about the lack of ability to do this. He beat Andrade, broke Andrade's streak of wins on Monday Night Raw.
This was this is a statement. You don't think so?
Good for him.
Yeah, I just hope this isn't the week where they start just beating Andrade all the time now. I thought this match was great. I thought Humberto was great and Andrade was great. I didn't like that they were teasing Zelina and Andrade breaking up at the end because they're so great together.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
I hope they don't do that. Because Andrade, I just, unless they do something with him and Charlotte Flair, because I know Charlotte's got some stroke and they're all over social media, so it's no secret now to even the mild hardcores that they're dating.
You know what this is going to look like. We know what this is going to look like. We saw it with Seth and Becky. WWE does not know how to write for this.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah, I agree. Leave him with Zelina. Zelina's so freaking good. And I think I see it being like a Rusev Lana thing where they were great together. They break them up and they were both kind of lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had Rey Mysterio backstage cutting a promo in advance of his championship match against AJ Styles tonight. And then we had Kevin.
Ray, real quick, the pop for Ray, and when he was giving Kevin Owens the pipe and everything, whatever they've done with Ray the past few months, if he just feels like the biggest he's felt in a long time, star wise.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, he is the biggest star with Brock Lesnar nowhere to be seen.
But they were beating him all the time before. Yeah. But now when he shows up, it's gigantic pop, and
it should be.
Yeah.
But you're right. The way they brought him in, said it earlier, was not the way you would bring in a future Hall of Famer, a first ballot Hall of Famer, might I add, and someone of his level. You know what I mean? Of revolutionizing. That's a big word you just don't throw out. He revolutionized part of our business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And how they mistreated him when they first brought him back was just mind-boggling.
Right.
They got it back on gear, and he's cutting some of the best promos he's cut. I would argue in his career he's cutting, and he's compelling.
I agree, Matt. I feel like he sounds the most real of I think anyone on Raw.
This is the most real he's ever sounded. I think.
Yeah.
And he had some really interesting storylines with Eddie, JBL, things to really draw out something from him, especially the JBL storyline, and Randy Orton storyline in the past. I remember things that really were devious and very, very, very heelish, and which would draw that out of him, something out of him, but nothing to this effect. Mm-hmm. He's really on. He's hitting on all cylinders. Yeah. And this is a good example, actually. People say like wrestling has an age. And this is why old timers I always used to think they were saying this to hold on to their spots far too long past their prime. But there is something to be said of it takes years to figure out for many of us as to how comfortable we can get in certain storylines or able to help bring something out of us that others in the past just maybe didn't. Mm-hmm. And you find this new dimension and that you're hitting on all cylinders. That's what he's doing right now. He's hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buddy Murphy tonight, picking up a win over Zach Ryder.
Yeah. Sorry, Zach. Zach's my boy. But love this win. Love Buddy Murphy. Huge fan of Buddy Murphy.
I mean, they're really giving him something, right, to build him up in advance of his match against Alistair Black at TLC.
Ugh. And he's going to lose that, but
it is what it is.
Has to happen.
So Kevin Owens backstage hunting AOP. I was told they're in their van. Disappointed to see what their van looked like. I was hoping maybe for an A-team van, maybe like some, one of those vans with like airbrushed artwork on the side, but no, just a basic black van. Right? I mean, the AOP should have like a cool van. I mean, like I said, the A-team could be cool. They had a cool van.
No, I think this fit them perfect.
The basic black
better
van.
than a Dodge Caravan. Better than that.
Yes.
Like a mom's soccer mobile, you know what I mean? Whatever the hell they call it.
I want them in the mystery machine. It's got to be like tough looking.
The A-team van was tough looking. The A-team was badass. Come on, we were all the same age.
In 1985, yes.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, Kevin opens, and it's not that far off. I'll get a photo of the A-team van up here. But we get Kevin Owens backstage, opens the back of the van, sees somebody sitting in a chair in the back of the van, and then before we can find out who it is, he is attacked by AOP, who beat him down. Kevin does go, or we do see the chair turn around, and it's Seth Rollins. He was there. He masterminded the entire thing, and then joins in the beatdown of Kevin Owens.
And he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those mangy kids. Because the guy in the chair, if you guys just hung around the show a little bit longer, he would have demasked that person, and it would have been somebody different sitting there.
Yes.
Dude, okay, great. Yeah, we get it. It's the 18 man. What I don't like though is this whole frigging pursuit crap that they do with the baby faces, always searching for somebody, and the camera's there to pick it up, and it's hokey as hell. I hate that.
Yeah. And then again, like that, he has no plan for once he finds them. You know, like he doesn't have like a trap set or something. He just finds them and gets his ass whipped.
I mean, do we all know that the wrestlers go to the shows before the 8 p.m. start line, or is that just like still not fully known to every fan? Do you think?
I don't think they pay attention to that.
Okay. Because my question is how does the camera pick it up just right in time where Kevin Owens is going to start his hunt looking for everybody?
Yeah.
Aren't they shooting other talents? Aren't they standing by in the locker room randomly because Becky, Lynch, and what's her name? Charlotte might start a conversation. So we better be there for that. Or, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it looks stupid for the baby face to go around hunting around looking for somebody.
Yeah. I thought, in general, for Kevin Owens tonight, I thought he looked stupid. It wasn't the best night for his character. But on the flip side, Rollins, it was great. And we'll get more into it.
That part was.
Yeah.
Now, for a big heel turn like this, do you think just sitting in the van revealing himself, I don't know. I feel like it would have been more dramatic if...
In the ring.
Yeah, and if they never showed him to begin with, like if he was never aligned with the AOP, just AOP had been attacking him all these weeks without Rollins around, and so then it's just more out of the blue as opposed to everyone was expecting Seth to be with the AOP anyway.
Yes.
But that being said, I think Seth looks like the most interesting he's been in forever.
Okay. See, you're giving them a pass because of how terrible they've been booking Seth as a babyface. And you've been wanting them to turn heel for quite a while, Raj. So you're giving them a pass on this because they finally got there.
Yeah. It wasn't the most effective or dramatic way to do it.
So Seth came out, cut a promo, basically saying, "What do you want from me?" Everybody's giving him all this crap. And he's been doing everything right, not taking nights off, fighting through injuries, laying it all on the line every time he gets out there.
I agree with him. I agree with everything he said, actually.
Sure.
He should be yelling at WWE creative.
Yes. But he's right. He doesn't take any nights off. He's in fifth gear every match, even on house shows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Seth is. He's
a workhorse.
Workhorse company guy. And he's sticking up for his company. When he sticks up for WWE and rips somebody else, he gets a lot of crap about it. Whereas if someone from AEW rips on WWE, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Seth, man, I thought this was his best promo in for years. I can't even remember the last time.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Hey,
I still hate his sinister laugh, though, for the record.
It's a little nasally.
But he didn't do it here, right?
It sounds so phony. Yeah.
But he didn't do it here, though. I mean,
no.
Everything he said, he believed it. It didn't sound scripted, and that's one thing that was great about it. It didn't sound scripted.
Heel Seth, mark my words, is going to come with a lot of sinister laughs.
Yeah.
Mark my words, fam.
Right. Yeah. Just because it wasn't tonight, it's coming.
Hey, as long as they call their new faction the Architects of Pain, I'm happy.
But I do like him as a heel, obviously.
Yeah, he's much better at it. He's more comfortable. And WWE, they can't book for baby faces worth shit. No. We saw it with Owens tonight.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
So Kevin Owens loaded into a stretcher, then into an ambulance. Then we had a 2-on-1 handicap match: the Kabuki Warriors versus Becky Lynch.
Yeah. All right.
I was reading that comment. Say that again. Kabuki Warriors, what? Versus
Becky Lynch tonight. A lengthy match. I believe the only women's match we got on tonight's show.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
This was competitive. Is this the first time Asuka has won without the mist since she's had the mist?
I don't know that answer. I want to say we've seen it every. I want to say we've seen it every time. No.
It feels like it.
But they didn't win here, though.
Well, true. Yeah. Or that she hasn't used it. I feel like it's been prominently featured. Regardless, steel chair, she got DQ'd.
Yeah. Did we miss the paramedics putting KO in the ambulance?
No. He said he was put it in the ambulance and taken away.
Did you see those paramedics putting him in the ambulance? They're just like stumbling all over the place. And it was the clumsiest, most. I mean, it's hilarious. If you didn't notice it, go back and watch it.
I'm gonna watch it again.
You have to watch it.
He's a husky boy like myself, and I'm just saying they probably, you gotta distribute the weight a little more evenly.
Oh, man,
Did any of you feel sorry for him? Did you feel bad for him?
No, he had it coming.
This is what I'm talking about. What we've been talking about. They don't think these things through for the baby faces when they're writing them, doing this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Kabuki Warriors with that when they had Becky on that table on the outside and Kairi Sane to that elbow from the top. That was awesome.
Hell yeah!
It's gonna be a great match Sunday.
I still can't believe Kairi Sane is an effective heel.
Yeah,
because the money in hers is a face. We all know that.
You just look at her and she's a baby face. Like you just want to like her.
She's pulling it off though.
She is. They're great. Again, my thing is that it was competitive the whole time. I feel like Becky and Charlotte are handling them both pretty much by themselves. I feel like it should be more one-sided for the Kabuki Warriors. Maybe, the first 5 minutes is a little 50-50, but then it should be the Kabuki Warriors really just dominating at the end.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm really going to be bummed when they lose on Sunday to Becky and Charlotte.
Me too. And I'm the biggest Charlotte mark there is, but still, no. Kabuki Warriors need to win. It doesn't hurt either one of the girls, Charlotte or Becky. It doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe if they do an angle, maybe if this is leading to the Kabuki Warriors ending up beating them down the line, and then that's the breakup of Becky and Charlotte. But Becky shouldn't be in a tag team anyway right now.
Yeah, and we know there's going to be a breakup anyway because we know those are two rooted in singles acts for that company. And anything in a tag team package is temporary. None of us are going to buy that they're going to be a tag team that rides off to the sunset for the next 10 years. Kabuki Warriors, we don't know that yet. I mean, obviously they probably won't, but we less than likely think that when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We think they're a tag team.
Right.
I don't know.
So after that, we had Charlotte in the trainer's room while Becky was getting iced up.
Here you go.
Becky was defiant. Charlotte walked out of the room, and then she got beat down by.
So this was good. I liked this actually. This is what I was telling you. How the first setup should have went with the first talk between the two.
Mm-hmm.
After the heels did what they did, and then you come together and said, "Look, we're getting our asses whipped by these two, and they're running roughshod over the women's division. This is our division. I know we don't get along. Blah 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 blah. But for this, we gotta blah 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 blah. That's it."
Yeah.
Lots of blah, blah, blahs.
And they challenged Charlotte and Becky to challenge them for TLC. And we are going to have a women's tag team title match, a TLC match between Asuka and Kairi versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch on Sunday.
That could steal the show.
Could be great.
Yeah.
We had a paid for by the NWO announcement tonight.
I love hearing that music again on Monday nights.
So they're going into the Hall of Fame in Tampa in April, along with Batista, whose induction was announced earlier today.
They're running out of acts to induct. Now they're going for all the groups, and I'm sure Evolution will be down the line. All these guys are going to have 2 or 3 Hall of Fame rings. I don't know.
We shall see. Eric Rowan versus Enhancement Talent. Eric, we still don't know what's in the cage. The Enhancement Talent stole the cage, ran with the cage, went back into the ring, tried to win by count out. Eric came back in, beat him up pretty handily. Promised his pet he was going to take care of the jobber. Oh. Let's talk about this weekend.
It was kind of fun. It was kind of funny when he stole the cage, but yeah.
Let's talk about the weekend update segment with the Street Profits. Matt, would you rather be caught watching hardcore pornography or this segment tonight on Monday Night Raw?
This segment on Raw.
Yeah.
What was wrong? What did you hate about it?
It was just it was so forced humor, and I feel like when WWE writes jokes, it's not funny.
Yeah,
it was.
Go ahead, Raj. Sorry.
I was thinking it was meant to be like not funny. Like it was meant to be corny and kind of over the top cheesy. And that's why, with the canned laughter and everything. I didn't mind it. I'd rather be caught watching hardcore pornography than that Rusev Lana segment earlier. But this wasn't the worst thing on the show for me. I actually was fine with it.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the Street Profits, they're screwing up a great thing. Just let these guys be themselves. Let them keep doing their thing.
Really quick, for the NWO package, who did they include?
So Waltman is going to be Hogan, Hall, Nash, and Waltman.
2-time Hall of Famer.
All of them.
All of them.
Everyone in that group, because Waltman was inducted with DX.
Yeah.
And Waltman back-to-back years. Last year with DX, this year with NWO. Let's talk about the United States title match that closed the show. AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. Randy Orton providing a distraction near the end of the match. Rey winning. Really good match. Got a decent amount of time, but Raw was not... USA was not messing around. Right after that bell rang, they barely said Rey Mysterio retains his title, and we were cutting for Modern Family.
What?
Like tonight on USA, like there was a hard out tonight. Like they just yanked it off the air.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? There was a timing issue at the end where Styles was going to give the Styles Clash off the ropes. They kind of botched that move, and so they lost like 15 seconds there, and that caused them to try to rush to get it done right as they went off the air. USA has been hard with the 11 o'clock stop. So yeah, once they botched that move and had to reformulate, AJ hit an extra move and then did the Styles Clash, so that drew off the timing.
What is the draw? If they're not competing against WCW Monday Nitro anymore, what is the draw to go to 11:15?
Why did they used to do it?
Like they did do it when we were doing this podcast
for 20 years,
up until a couple years ago or a year ago even.
Yeah. It made no sense. It's already 3 hours. It's already too long. And then to add another 10, 15 minutes.
What was the purpose of it?
I think they're just used to it. It was just how they,
because think about it. If you're a network, wouldn't you be kind of freaking pissed off? Because you have, how do you fit an hour show in that is supposed to come after that? What do you do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Short commercials.
Do you cut the ads off of these other,
Yeah, especially when it's not the same stop time every week. Like it's 1 week it's 5 minutes, the next is 15.
11:07.
Right. And so you have to do it on the fly.
Yes,
yeah, I guess I wonder if it's just on everything is off that 15 minutes for the rest of the night until they go to their, paid advertising or whatever.
The fan wrote that it messes up our DVRs. Yes, it totally does.
I think though it makes it feel so much more predictable when they have the overrun. You don't know how long a match is going to take. It's not this idea that it's going to end right at the top of the hour.
But at the same time, like with NXT, I know that it's not going to end on time, so I can watch the AEW main event and then switch over to NXT because I know it's going to go another 10 minutes.
Same here. Same thing. Yep.
So that was Raw tonight. TLC is Sunday. I feel like we have to talk about the big news story from yesterday that the WWE granted some releases and cut some folks that maybe didn't ask for their release.
No. Everyone that was cut had asked for their release.
The Ascension had. Interesting.
Even Ascension asked for their release?
Yeah, they had several months ago. Yeah, I think they've asked a couple times. That one they didn't ask for it publicly, but they had asked for their releases. Luke Harper and Sin Cara, they had asked publicly. Sin Cara pretty recently. Also last week, ACH was granted his release. So you had five wrestlers being released in a 1 week span. All who had, requested it. So good for WWE for letting them go. Mike Kanellis was not released. He had been pretty vocal. He's been doing some interviews talking about not being happy with the company. He's happy for what WWE did for him, but it's not, happy how he's being used. But he'll do whatever they ask him to because he is under contract. But, it's clear he would like to be out.
I could see Connor doing something out of it between the Ascension guys. I could see him going somewhere and doing something.
Another cult faction in AEW?
No, none of that.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah.
Definitely, what's his name? Big Rig Brody Lee.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Luke Harper.
Luke
Yeah,
Harper.
he had trademarked Brody Lee. He clearly has been ready for this, so he's the one that for sure, you could see something happening with.
Mm-hmm. Now, who does AEW have for him to work against?
Luke
This
Harper.
is why they've got to get bigger guys on that roster.
Wardlow.
That's not enough. It's a very shallow roster when it comes to shapes and sizes.
Luchasaurus.
Okay. Who else?
I don't know. I'm just
You're
literally
naming
naming
two
off the top of
people,
my head.
and I would argue Wardlow's not big.
How tall
He's
is
big
Jake
compared
Hager?
to the rest of them.
Jake Hager's big. He hasn't wrestled yet.
There's only two: Jack Swagger and Luchasaurus. That's it. That's the only big guys they have, and then Dustin, obviously.
Yeah.
Crazy tall.
They need more big guys. But then, again, it's going to just make their roster look shorter by comparison.
Oh, wow. Shorter guys could beat bigger guys. Tell the
true.
story.
Yeah.
Get your working boots on.
So that's eventful. This is the first time WWE's done these sort of cuts all once in a while.
Yeah. KCC saying Brody versus Okada. That New Japan, that used to be their forte.
That would be nice. He goes there and acts like
Bruiser Brody.
Bruiser Brody. He could definitely have a Bruiser Brody run through that company. That would be an ingenious idea, actually.
Yeah, and with Wrestle Kingdom around, well, no, they got the non-compete that expire on March 8th, all of them.
Oh, wow.
Except for ACH, obviously, who's already out.
Build them for the next one then. Yeah. I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. You start some mystery angle or something at Wrestle Kingdom, and
he can pull that off. Fighting in the crowd where the crowd's legit shitting their pants and scared because this dude's swinging a chain or whatever the hell he's doing, acting crazy. He's got that. He can pull that off, man.
Yeah. Someone else saying Brody versus Moxley. True, but it's kind of a.
That'd be a one-off for me as far as entertainment value goes. I'm dead serious. I think New Japan's that's a great call.
Harper versus Lance Archer. Yeah, New Japan, that is a great call. And New Japan, they've kind of, as far as the U.S. goes, they've kind of lost a lot of steam since all those guys. And so this would, at least for U.S. fans, and Japan is still doing great, but for U.S. fans, it's lost a lot of steam after Omega left. So this would, give it some juice.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. We're going to be back here Wednesday night to talk about AEW versus NXT. Raj, Matt, anything to plug before we take this out?
Nope.
Ric Flair is back on our podcast, so he will be on Wednesdays weekly, so definitely check that out. Tony Atlas, a bunch of Hall of Famers and legends this week, so check it out.
Are you interviewing Flair?
Nick did. It was done earlier today.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting. We'll see you back here Wednesday night. He's at BP Matt Morgan. He's at Raj Giri _303. I am at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter, where I would greatly appreciate a follow, and we will catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
Why are you always welching for